and I got access to this audio. And while a lot of people praise Yerima for being defiant, standing against the FCT minister, holding his own. Some have called him brave, bold, courageous. These are the kinds of soldiers that we need. Many other people are blaming the FCT minister for his conduct. He did not behave well. There have been hot takes and cold takes. Some people have said, well, the soldier was in the wrong. We need to clearly define the rules of engagement, the jurisdiction of the military and civilian. These are civil matters. Army officers have no business. They should focus on protecting the country, manning our borders, and being responsible for the territorial integrity. Is that the expression? I'm trying to properly get it. That we should not have soldiers in those positions, particularly when it comes to land approval and all of that. And there are lots of perspectives. Some valid, others, well. But again, everyone has opinions. But it's quite clear that we are missing the most important factor. And this part of the conversation has nothing to do with who is right or who is wrong. Right? You can eventually argue who you think conducted themselves professionally and who did not. But as always, I like to tackle it from the root. The fact that this was not meant to happen at all. That the FCT minister was on ground. And soldiers were also on ground. And there was a back and forth. Who are you? Do you know who I am? I'm not who you think you are. Who do men say I am? Is evident that something went wrong for them to even get to that point. After the break, you and I get to find out what that something is. Stay with us. most searched query for possibly yesterday and today. I'm certain it will be Wike and Yerima from Nigeria. Yes, indeed. Everyone has heard about this altercation. And like I said before the break, my position is not to state who is right or wrong. Honestly, it's none of my business. My position is, how did we get here? That's the real problem that everyone ignores. And it's one very simple word: database. Yes, indeed. You and I are going to see very shortly the importance of data and keeping records, and how the absence of a centralized database got Wike in the same space with Yerima in the presence of the media, and well, that drama is what ensued. So, let's go to school. A database is an organized collection of information that allows easy storage, retrieval, and management of data. And the most important part of a database is data. So where are we going with this? Let's look at it from the most basic level. We all went to school. And in school, we had an attendance register, right? And every morning, I don't know the kind of school you went to, but this was a generic experience. There will be a roll call. The teacher will call, Sam Chinedu, present, and they will take your name. I'll use my colleagues as members of this class. Kalada Koru Batubo, present, with his deep voice. Denise Wallo, present, ma. And she wants to talk more than that. I say, Denise, it's okay, sit down. And then they will say, Jude Omamegbe. Jude will not answer. And she calls a second time. Obviously, Jude is absent. Sometimes your friend will say, sick. And then she ticks that Jude is absent. You see, that is a database. It's a register with all the members of that class. The idea is to give you as much information as is required of the members of that class, the data. If tomorrow Jude doesn't make school again, it will be imputed in the register that he was absent twice in this week. And that's enough information for the teacher to go to Jude's house and say, Mama Jude, your son has not been to school. She'll be specific 3 times or 4 times or since this week. Why? Because the register clearly gave her accurate data. Do you remember when the Rivers State House of Assembly, no, not the House of Assembly, the Secretariat got burnt? And while we talked about it on radio, one of the things that I said, of course, the part that got burnt was, does the Secretariat have a digital database? Because it would be a shame that the files in that office got burnt. And then, tomorrow somebody is saying their pension record, they don't have access to it. The land grabbing menace that we have in Rivers State today is supposed to be solved by a digital, updated, and centralized database. From the office of the governor, everybody knows who owns what land. The CFO is there. So if one person says my land is not my land, when we open the records, we will get to know who owns what. So the question, does the FCTA have a centralized and digitized database with all the records showing who owns what property, who got approval, and who can develop? That's the first question. Now, obviously, the answer is no. You know why I say so? Of course, I don't work with the FCTA. You say, Sam, you never can tell. Maybe the FCT minister has his records. Possibly. But you see, when the FCT minister quizzed the soldier, do they have approval? He responded by saying yes, that they did. And then he went further to point to the man standing beside Wike to say, he has the documents. To which that man replied by saying, Yerima, don't lie. And there was a back and forth. So that means that there was something that happened in the background, but documents were submitted to a man, not to a system. Oh, Sam, where did you get this information? Listen to this part.
We must work according to law. We must work according to law.
We forwarded it to me.
And
yes,
to you. No, anybody don't tell like this. Don't tell like this.
Don't you try it.
I said it. Don't tell like this. Don't tell like this. Don't tell like this. Don't tell like this.
Okay, so I'm hoping the audio is better. Yerima responded by saying, we forward everything to him. If you watch the video, there was a man standing beside Wike who he pointed to. And that man quickly said, no, Yerima, don't tell lies. And then there was a back and forth. In that moment, they did not pay attention to what the Yerima said to follow up and say, did anybody give you anything? The next thing we started hearing, do you know who I am? Who am I? Where I have been? I'm a mover and shaker. I have conquered. I have scattered. It tells you that the process of getting this approval is questionable. Because if now somebody is claiming, oh, we have an approval, but we gave the document to this person, and that person is now coming out to say, no, you did not give me, you are lying, this and that, there's a problem. And it's usually what happens in Nigeria, where the process for big man to register is not the same for small man to register. Let's go back to the classroom. Now, the teacher has the register of all the students in class. Imagine if during exam, some students we don't know just show up and claim, we are members of this class. They say, where are you from? They say the principal has our own register. Oh, we've paid. We gave it to this person. There will be a problem. A very big problem. So, does the FCTA have, and I'm specific with the choice of words before database, a digital and centralized database? By what happened yesterday, it is safe to say that the answer is no. Once again, listen to that soldier claim that they gave documents to somebody who Wike came with, by the way.
We must work according to law. We must work according to law.
We forwarded everything to you.
And
Yes,
to you. No, don't tell like this. Don't tell like this.
Don't you try this?
I said it. Don't tell like this. Don't tell like this. Don't tell me this. You're fine. Look at me. I'm more than the right. I'm more than the right. I'm more than the right. I'm more than you. Look at you. Don't interrupt me. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I am everywhere. I'm everywhere. Who are you? So what?
And once again, it was a part also, the clash of egos. Do you know who I am? Do you know where I've been? And that's how you and I got what we got. So I'm not interested in who was right or who was wrong. But a centralized database would have shown, and nobody would need to be in this position. And then we'll be able to tell who is telling the truth and who is lying. And if you do, and maybe soldiers still decide to go there, with accurate information, everything is reconciled, then we can now go to court saying, this is database that has everybody's record in Abuja, all the land, the approval. But Vice Admiral or retired this one, he's not here, but he's laying claim to this land. At least now it's a legal battle. The court judgment, law enforcement will go and position. Unfortunately, with the way the country is, that might not even work as well, because the judiciary is also compromised. Now, judgment is for sale. This one can go to court and get his own judgment. The other one can go. That tells you that, the plight of the common man is also touching the uncommon man. So this is a problem with the system. It's easy to blame Wike in this case and blame Yerima and say this one is right. But look beyond that, at the system that created the chaos. If there's anything you and I can learn from this, have a functional, digitized, and centralized database for your family, for your business, and for your life. Else, you will end up like this.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
That's all that
matter.
matters. I'm an offside take to others.
So what? You had a who than me.
So I'm an offside take to others.
To that you tell you
Okay,
that.
Mr. General.
Okay.
I can't say no. That means
You can never develop this property. I will not allow it.
No problem, sir.
You are
I'm
not-
only acting on my
if
orders.
you want to
as
kill
an
everybody,
officer.
kill everybody.
We will not kill
You
anybody,
cannot.
sir. We will not. We will not kill anybody, sir.
You put yourself in trouble because you are an officer. Nobody does that.
We did not carry anybody, sir.
The man took the land. We will not allow because he was chief of naval officer,
did
and
not,
then
sir.
for you to carry land.
Sir, everything was acquired legally.
Will you
and
stop
sir,
that?
you get the
Will you stop
Sir,
that?
I'm an officer. I have integrity.
Shut up, your mouth.
Sir, I will not shut up.
Will you get out?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir, I'm a
I
professional
was in
officer.
school. You're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
Will
me
you
up.
keep quiet?
You can't
You're
shut
a
me
big
up, sir.
fool.
I'm not a
You're a
fool.
big fool.
I'm not a fool,
You can
sir.
shoot anybody like that.
Sir, I'm not
You're
a
a big
fool.
fool. Are you?
I am not.
That's enough for one day. Thank you very much. We go from that to the next story, which also starts and ends on a tragic note. But unfortunately, this time, it's from the world of sports. Nigeria Super Eagles and their technical staff boycotted training in Rabat on Tuesday. Yesterday as well. A lot happened yesterday. Over unresolved bonus payments, raising concerns ahead of their 2026 FIFA World Cup Africa playoff semi-final against Gabon. The squad, along with officials, withheld their participation in protests, citing outstanding allowances dating back to 2019. For achievements including reaching the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations and qualifying for the World Cup playoffs, according to a journalist. He reported that the players and staff were awaiting a quick resolution to continue preparation for Thursday's game. My goodness. Well, I'm not the expert in this field, so my job is to ask questions. But before I ask the questions connected to this, I'd like to ask my guest, who's the expert. Do you know who I am? Do you know me, Eval?
Well, I think I know.
You are
Sam.
trying me.
Good afternoon to you, Sam.
Who are you taking orders from? Good afternoon, my dear. Don't mind me. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to our listener.
Okay. So, what are the chances of winning a game without training for it?
Well, if this were to be at the start of the season, I would have said the chances are very slim.
Okay.
But because this is somewhere after match day 11, 12, 13, depending on the league you play for, I'll say the chances are higher than nothing. All right. To that, I'll say around 60 to 70%, you can still pull through. Because the guys are physically active. They just came from their club side.
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday fixtures, took that flight to Morocco. And even though they may not have trained, okay, there was one training session on Monday. And the same happened for the Gabonese, who will our likely opponent. The Gabonese trained on Tuesday, and we didn't. Our car was packed right from around 4 p.m. The Costa bus packed around 4 p.m. yesterday till around 9 to 10 p.m. The Costa bus was still stationed in front of our hotel room, and there was no movement in, no movement out. So the car was stationary for the duration of about 5 to 6 hours because of the deadlock.
Okay. And is this the best way for the Super Eagles to make the statement?
Now, two truths can coexist.
Okay.
With that, I like to cite the two different proponents we have currently. One, many are arguing that this is not the best time to down tools.
I kind of agree, but yeah,
It's not the best time to boycott.
Yeah.
And there's also a school of thought that is also arguing that the NFF, which is a microcosm of the Nigerian society,
Indeed.
there's only you only have one window to hold them accountable by the balls.
More like to
put
slim.
it there.
Yeah.
You know, hold you where you can't shake, because you know if you shake, the whole world will hear or something wrong might happen. Let's try to put it side by side with other issues we've had in Nigeria. I could recall when we had the battle around the LMA axis. Then Akpabio was the minister.
Okay.
And then you know, there were repeated accident, gridlock, and the rest there.
Yeah.
He had to take, when there was a protest that locked down the road leading to One, for him to come around. You could recall. So that was holding them by the balls. So when you're losing millions of naira every day for 3 to 4 days for a week, the minister showed up, came there, did a statement, begged the youth, and the road was opened up. You could recall the last I think protest by the aviation people, I think sometime last year. Oh yeah, last year. It had to take when they locked the road leading to the airport, where they couldn't fly themselves. You know, everything was grounded before we had a resolution that was done in a matter of just hours.
Okay.
So it's more like the guys are, one proponent is saying this is the best time to hold them accountable. We're having conflicting reports. One of the reports says in 2019, the other report says it's a special bonus that the guys are agitating for, right? Other report is saying it's just a few months, just this last qualifier, just this World Cup, just this Nations Cup we just qualified for. In all of this, one thing subsists here, and it's the NFF is owing. Is there a good time or a bad time to owe?
It depends on the arranged payment package.
So it is supposed to be pay as you go.
Okay.
More like it. Since they aren't on salaries, right? What they have is all these training bonuses, allowances, match bonuses, and the rest.
Is it always paid immediately?
Is
Is that always the case world over?
That's supposed to be the case. For instance, if you're traveling, let's say Rivers United is going for a CAF Champions League game, it's pay as you go.
Okay.
So the guys are traveling to Egypt for a game against Al Ahly of Egypt. There's something called ESTA code.
Yeah.
As the boys wake up that Saturday morning after landing on Friday, you sign. You get your $1,000 if it's $1,000. And if there's any promise, it's now promise that you can delay upon. Because with promise, it now behoves on whosoever promised to redeem that particular promise. And if he wants to renege, you can also renege that promise. So with the promise, okay, if you guys win this match, we'll give you, I'll dash you $30,000. That's a different ballgame entirely. But for the statutory ESTA code, it is meant to be remitted either before or after the game itself. So you have I think there's a clear-cut match bonus or so. Win $5,000, draw $3,000, lose $1,000. So those ones are statutory.
Okay.
That is supposed to have remitted or remit just immediately or possibly before, depending on what kind of scenario we find ourselves. So the thing is this: we've had repeated incidences of we have backlog of payment to be made or cleared up, and there's a promise and a promise and a further promise and the promise, and you're still turning up to work. It's not like you're working for somebody who has not paid August, but you're in November.
You know, we have somebody here in the office whose name is Promise.
Yes. so the promise keeps piling up, and maybe you say on a good day, today that the junior overseer is coming, or Daddy G or our big guy is the day we want to down to, so that this man can pay us our money. You know, on those days they want people to be in very proper, manner. That's where you hold them by the balls.
Okay, so when those in the health sector embark on strikes, the Hippocratic oath is usually thrown in their face.
Yes.
The vow to save lives.
Yeah.
Right? And there's always the conversation around the conflict between you needing to save life and you needing to survive.
Yeah.
Where those interests align. There is right now the conversation around patriotism. Are the players patriotic?
Yeah.
Yes, we know that you're old, but this is the World Cup, which you did not qualify for the last time.
Yes.
And it's important, beyond the NFF, that you represent the country properly at this tournament. So, do you think that the patriotism conversation is valid at this time as well? That the players might not be as patriotic for putting at this time their personal needs over national interest?
I'd love to look at the issue of patriotism being raised right now as gaslighting.
Really?
Yes. They want to gaslight the players who are protesting for what's due them or what has been promised to them. For instance, I listened to one of the journalists who's in Morocco, and he said that, contrary to what he said yesterday, the guys did not look for, they weren't the one requested for a special package. The NFF had promised a special package and even stated a figure.
Oh my goodness.
They stated a figure that, for qualifying for these, there's a special package for you, and the figure is, let's say, $10,000 each player, if you can go through. So the thing is that what you promised us, but we are here. Let it do it. Right? And you're also owing us a backlog. Can you clear? Because it's more like this is the best time to hold up. So let's go back to the patriotism and the gaslighting I'm talking about. We've had situations whereby people have played for this country, being owed, even up to the level of media officers. We have our own Dorcas Cookie who just returned. Right? We've had media officers in the past who have also followed teams to travel. I'm trying to set a foundation here.
Yeah, I guess.
I've had colleagues who have finished at media officers back in the days, with women's team, with men's national team, and they weren't paid. They couldn't get their money. They should tell you that NFF is owing me about 7.5 million. This is some 8 years ago, some 7 years ago, right? Because that money, we know the proverbial voicemail. When it passes that moment,
it's close to impossible.
This could be happening to the men's national team,
yes,
which is the creme de la creme of Nigeria. Then imagine what happens to age grade teams. Imagine what happens to the women's team. I could recall in 2018 when we won the WAFCON. That was the Women African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. We had the girls, either 2016 or 2018, we had the girls return to Nigeria and protested to the National Assembly.
Oh my.
Yes, it was that bad.
Oh my.
Because of unpaid bonuses, allowances, and whatsoever. So we've had a situation whereby some players have played for us before. I mean, this backlog is for past and present footballers. Maybe you were in good form, and the next few years you weren't called up again, but you still deserve to have gotten something for the ones you played. But they end up not getting it. The late Christian Chukwu did an interview, I think a few years last year. It was in circulation when he said he is being owed by the NFF. He walks to the office, the secretariat of the NFF, and has protested for his payments. Do you know that when he died and that video made the rounds again on social media,
Yeah.
the NFF brought out a statement and said, we are not owing him. We never owed him. And I was shocked when the video was in circulation 2024 and he was alive. Why do you not put out these statements?
He didn't respond.
He didn't respond. So we've had issues where players have to forfeit because sometimes you go over and over again and it's as if you can't get it, or there's too many stories coming in and you have to give up. So when you look at the fact that these guys too have families, these guys too have to fulfill certain obligations, then they've been promised and failed consistently over time when they've kept aside their personal struggles and say, okay, let's be patriotic, let's go and fight for Nigeria, and the backlog have piled up and again and again and again. A day comes whereby it just breaks the camel's back.
Okay. Well, it is sad and sorry. That's all we can say. Thank you, Eval. It's always wonderful having you.
Thank you so much.
I never want the conversation between us to end.
But I hope that I just heard there's a good news. So
Okay.
possibly the resolution has been reached.
Amazing.
So the guys might train today and we'll play tomorrow by 5 p.m. So wish to Super Eagles some luck.
I wish them luck. But the problem is if we lose now, everybody's going to say it's because of that training that they missed.
Again, anything for excuses for Nigeria.